Hey, welcome back to A Life Learned. Today I'm going to share with everyone a little bit about my story leading up to starting my channel, as well as my experiences as I've reached 100 subscribers.
Ideas are nearly as useful as what we do with them.
An idea could escape.
Ideas are bulletproof.
So, for those who haven't seen my previous videos, I do have a background of abuse. I met someone when I was in my early teens who promised to help me get out of my poverty situation and help me get through school. They adopted me and then unfortunately became very abusive and ended up regularly raping and beating me. I thankfully got out of this situation, though it did last 6 years. But I got out when I was 20, I got my own place, and I tried to spend about a year of my life just pretending it basically didn't happen. But I came to find that that just didn't work for me. I wasn't being able to move on with my life. It was still affecting me emotionally and affecting my relationships. And so I started going to therapy because for various reasons I kind of thought I was crazy, and I came to learn that I had PTSD. I honestly knew very little about the condition before being diagnosed with it, and then later being told that I had complex PTSD. Another year went by where I tried to just work part-time and go to school and do therapy, but I came to realize that I couldn't just let the situation go and allow him to continue going on in public because he was actually still very mentally ill and affecting a lot of other people around him, as well as me in ways, because I was still interacting with him. So I finally decided to report what had happened to me, and at that time I also decided that I should stop going to school because I needed to be available for the court proceedings and stuff like that. And so with that, I also was able to be registered in a group therapy that I couldn't do while I was in school because I needed to be more available for it. So I was able to get more in depth with my therapy as well, but I had to stop my schooling. So at that point, the plan was to just work. And then basically because I waited a while to report it, it became what's considered a historical case. And because he is smart, he was able to use the justice of the peace or something to get out of jail and not be detained. And so with that, I was a little bit afraid for myself because he knew where I lived and we lived in the same city. And at the same time, I had previously, a few months previous, fallen in love with someone who was going to be moving out of the city. So both a push and a pull situation of being pushed out of fear of him knowing where I was, and then being pulled by a person moving that I had fallen in love with, I had decided to move to a small town where I started trying to work in just a small kitchen, a Krabby Joe's, and that was not a pretty situation at all. Basically what I did was I went and found my own place and I got a job at a Krabby Joe's, and I tried my hardest for like 4 or 5 months between September and December, but I came to find myself absolutely miserable and in so much pain. I was pretty much suicidal. I couldn't handle it because of my fibromyalgia that I have. So with that, I had to put in my notice and end just before New Year's. Up to this point, it hadn't quite hit me as hard as it hit me soon after how much I was really missing my friends quite a bit, because I didn't really know anybody in the town that I'd gone to. I knew my spouse's family and they were really nice and friendly, but not much beyond that. I didn't really have any other friends, and I was really missing the parties and spending time with my friends, hanging out at my own place, and being able to just go to things in the city. There wasn't much going on in the town I was in, so it got very reclusive very quickly. And once I had to stop working, it got 10 times worse. My situation got pretty bad because welfare really doesn't provide much. I couldn't afford my own place anymore, so I went and found a lady's basement, basically. She was renting it out for $400, and we shared the kitchen. I had my own bathroom though, and like living space. But she ended up starting off nice and claiming to be understanding of mental health issues, and then ended up being incredibly condescending and spiteful towards me for having mental health issues and not working while she went to work every day. And the amount of stress and anxiety that I was under in her house, I didn't really realize at the time, but it made me literally sweat, like dripping sweat every day, and it gave me a stomach condition. I ended up in the hospital a couple of times because of high stress situations that involved her in particular, so it wasn't a very fun situation. And then things ended up happening with where my spouse was staying, so he ended up moving in with me, and so we've since then been basically splitting the bills like roommates. But living with her was absolutely terrible, so as soon as we could, with help from his family in terms of helping us pay last month's rent, we found somewhere else and have since been there. And even though I was talking about starting a YouTube channel all through the time living with her because I was on welfare and not doing much with myself, I was just under so much stress and anxiety, and I felt very little like I had my own space because she would come downstairs whenever she wanted to do her laundry and such. She claimed to be polite to knock, but she would honestly just walk in if she really wanted to. She didn't actually care if I was okay with her coming down, so not feeling like I had my own space made it really hard to start the channel, even though I had nothing else going on in my life. It was like the deadest time of my life, I swear. Awful 10 months. But anyways, so we moved into where we are now, and about 3 weeks into living here, I started the process of starting ALifeLearned, which I don't honestly remember how I did it, but there's a way to like start a channel off your channel, and that's what I did because I wanted to have like a separate channel. So yeah, started that process, and then by December 14th I released my first video. I thought it rather fitting to do the subject of starting new things for my first new video, new experience. What I wanted above all with my channel was to bring awareness to people and share ideas and share cool concepts, get people talking about them, get people more aware of social stigmas and just environmental things that they don't commonly know that are really cool and helpful and informative to know. I love science, I love environmentalism, and I just really want to share a lot of these ideas with people. And I've also just been through a lot of things in my life, even though I'm only 24. The amount of abuse I've been through has been rather large, and it's taught me a few things here and there. And I've also pursued a lot of education, as I've mentioned in past videos. I've got 4 years of university under my belt, so with all that, I've really been through quite a bit, and I love learning. So all this combined, I just really want to share all these fun ideas and concepts with the world. But I didn't really know where to start. And then I started to learn that you really need to get into the YouTube communities in order to be a part of YouTube and get seen and help people and share the ideas that I want to share. So I started poking around in the different communities, and I learned a little bit about how I should share what I want my channel to be about. So I made my little My Creation Story video, and then after that I had a bout of awful sickness. I got really sick to my stomach again out of stress and different things, and I couldn't post my video on time. But when I finally found myself recovering, I immediately recorded a video as soon as I could and posted it as soon as I could. I think it was like a Thursday or a Friday, I'm not sure. But I made it on chronic pain and illness to be relevant to my life and to share how hard it can be in that condition, to try to bring awareness about the whole concept. And I finally started to get views. I finally had realized a subject that people were interested in, and it occurred to me that I should really start focusing on things that I struggle with in life. And that was always a goal, but I was just not sure where to start, and so that was a good help. And then from there I moved on to discussing some of my mental health things, and found that Reddit is actually incredibly helpful for getting a lot of this stuff out. And God, I'm just really grateful for YouTube and for the YouTube communities, because ever since I moved out to the small town that I'm at and have been forced to be on welfare, I've had nothing in my life at all. I really wish I could work so I could just have something to do, but I can't, and it's been really depressing, especially because the person that I moved with has PTSD as well, but in them it manifests as like a social anxiety, that it gets triggered by social situations, so he's all about avoiding them at all costs, which kind of means we don't go out like at all. If there's ever let's go do this, or here's an opportunity to go spend time with people, a lot of times, not all the time, because sometimes you can, but a lot of the times he'll prefer not to because he doesn't want to go through the anxiety of it. It's not social anxiety, hence sometimes he can do it. It's just PTSD that triggers that way, and it ultimately leads to a big lack of socializing, especially with such a small town. As I said, I've not really been able to make any other friends. I mean, there aren't hardly anyone my age around here. It's all old people and kids. So I poke around and I go and pick up garbage like I had pledged, and I go to parks and stuff, but I don't really have socializing, and it's been kind of really depressing and lonely. And it's also been sad to see things that my friends post on Facebook, social events, and I don't get to go to them. I don't get to spend time with these people that I really care about and I really want to spend time with. So it's been quite a struggle in that sense, but I'm moving actually in a couple months back to where I used to live, and I'm going to be able to spend time with my friends again, and I'm really excited for that. But till then, I'm just very proud to say that I reached 100 subscribers. For some reason, I had a goal of 100 subscribers. I know you're not supposed to like set a number to it, but I just felt like once you reach that number, you're reaching people. People hear you and they think you have something helpful to say that you can actually help them, or offer them common ideas or things that they want to discuss. And that's all I want to do, is talk with people, share ideas, and get people thinking about really important and cool concepts. So having reached that number was just an awesome thing for me. It really gave me a lot of drive to keep going, of course. And it's weird because I somehow thought that once I'd reach it, I'd just stop and no one would subscribe to me after that. That would be it, just 100 and I'm good. But I've got a few more since that, and it's been wonderful. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being a part of my channel by subscribing. You guys make it all happen. If it weren't for you, I'd have no reason to make these videos. And if you ever have any ideas of videos that you'd like to see, by all means, message me, let me know, send me an email, anything. I'd love to know what you'd love to hear about and talk about. I'm all about sharing ideas. That's what this channel is, sharing cool ideas. So if you ever want to get any particular discussion going, just let me know. I'm all ears. So if there's anyone watching this looking for a little tip on how to get a few subscribers, I would highly advise trying to find somewhere on Reddit to post your links, because there's a lot of people looking for some cool information on there. So if you can find a relevant subreddit, you can probably get a few views and maybe even a few subscribers. And if you ever find yourself in the similar situation to me, where for whatever reason you can't get out and socialize but you do want to, I really advise trying out communities like Reddit and YouTube, especially YouTube, because I've had a lot of really nice people contact me, like Nat. Oh my god, Nat Lopez. Just such an angel. He has been wonderful. And then there's Leon. He's been really great as well. He actually suggested that I do this video, and he also made a really silly request that I make a funny face. So here you go, Leon. I hope that's both funny and crazy. But anyways, I just really appreciate these people a lot. They've been really kind to me, and even though I've been super lonely and missing my own friends, they've been sharing with me their lives and letting me share my life with them and being super kind. And so for anyone who's feeling lonely, I highly advise reaching out on these social networks. There's a lot of really caring people who love to just talk and be nice, and it's definitely worth reaching out. And for that note, if this is the first video you've watched of mine, I love chatting with people too and reaching out, so feel free to message me. I'm always happy to chat. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and please join me next week where I try again to share a little something I've learned in life.